Alright, so today we're going to do one of my favorite yearly videos, and that's my 10 series to start in the following year. So 10 series to read in 2023, and we're going to ignore the fact that I don't know where this year went. We're going to ignore it, except age is a thing, time intervals get shorter and shorter, we're just going to keep moving. And I, before doing this, looked through my last year's video to see how good I did, and we'll briefly touch base on that. We're not reviewing things, we're just going to see how I did, and I'm going to talk about my list for next year that I will attempt to achieve. And yeah, I actually did really well this year, guys, and I didn't really notice it, although was I good at picking series that I liked? Questionable. I think I had a stronger reading year for a series, even though I didn't read all of them, because I feel like I got to a lot of these because not many were very successful for me. And we'll get into that into a future video where I talk about all the series that I'm DNFing after this year, because I haven't updated that list in a while, and there are many that I will not be continuing in. But for this list, last year I wanted to start Murderbot. I did. I've read 2 works in the Murderbot world. I also wanted to read Dawn. I read the entire Xenogenesis series, so you can see a should you reads for that, but I read it. I did read Malice by John Gwynne. I have a review for that. It is not glowing, it's not horrible, it's a 3-star review of a book. I read Fool's Errand, and I'm currently going to be reading Fool's Fate soon, the 3rd book in Tawny Man, so I have started that series. I wanted to read Ancillary Justice, and I did. And unfortunately, another 3-star experience, Infamocracy. That entire trilogy I have read. I have a should you read for it, the Sentinels cycle. That was also, though, like a 3.5 low 4 read experience, but I really loved the project of that book enough to actually power through and actually finish the entire trilogy this year. Plus, shout out to Shannon for the buddy read, because I think the buddy read assist really helped me prioritize it. I wanted to also get through Mistborn Era 2. Currently reading The Lost Metal. That's been going great. And I did read Foreigner, but again, that was another 3-star experience. There were 2 series on my last year's list that I did not get to. One of them is War Child. This has been on a list for 2 years. I am putting it on the next list, so we're now starting the list, because both of the things I didn't get to, I want to get to. This is, again, if I don't get to this book in the next year, I need some sort of punishment, because I really want to. I have been told, since talking about it in a different video, probably one of my series wrap-ups, that this is a dark space opera military sci-fi, which I'm here for. I'm totally here for. When I read like a page of it, I think it was in 2nd person, which again, kind of one of my like buzzword situations. I just want to read it. I just need to. Like, oh my goodness, why haven't I? And the answer is time and priorities. So top of my priority list. Similarly, another series that I think I'm actually craving, because my reading mood has been struggling. If you saw my last Friday reads, I'm in a weird place, but this series seems like something that could spark my love of reading and like be like, oh, I just want to read this all the time. Theft of Swords. Now, I will say that this is kind of a placeholder for anything by Michael Sullivan. I do think I want to start in publication order. That said, a lot of people have been liking, I think it's Age of Myth or something like that, so I'm really tempted by that series. So if this time next year, when I'm looking at this video, I read Age of Myth instead of Theft of Swords and I didn't get to both, it's a win. We're counting it as a win, but I want to get into his works because I do think he's a fantasy author I'm sleeping on and that I could really love. So those are the 2 carryovers from last year. So 80% success rate is pretty good, but there were how many 3-star reads? Quite a few. It wasn't my best at picking for my taste, so I tried really hard to pick series that I'm excited for this next year, that'll hopefully be winners and new favorite of all time series. We'll see how that goes, but first, there are some that are just kind of like in my mind, like things that I want to keep going with. So my Realm of the Elderling series for next year is going to be Rainwild Chronicles. So yeah, that's 4 books. I think I will like it. I'm not sure. I never know when I'm going to love or just appreciate a Robin Hobb book. She's not like super consistent in getting emotional responses from me that I want while I'm reading. But that said, I have not had a negative enough experience to not continue the Realm of the Elderling. So technically a continuation of a series, but we all know there's like 4 series within it, etc. Another one that I want to start because I really love the author are the Love Medicine books by Louise Erdrich. And this is kind of tricky because is it really a series or is it just a connected world? Who's to say? But I have a huge stack of Louise Erdrich books and almost all of them are in her Love Medicine world. It's like a lot of the family lines interconnect. And I want to make a project of it and I want to start that. And I haven't read a Louise Erdrich book in a year and a couple months, and that's a crime because I love her writing. Like I really do. So This is kind of one of those things where I'm prioritizing it. I know I like this author's writing style. This is only good energy. Another author on this list that I keep not prioritizing, even though I love everything I've read, T. Kingfisher. I know there's a whole bunch, and there are some worlds that cross over or whatever. I'm going to put Clockwork, the Clocktor War. I think that's how you say it. You have the cover here. This is a duology. I know there's the Paladins books. I think they're both in the same world. I'm unsure, but I just knew this was published before the Paladins when I was looking at publication dates. And this is, again, kind of one of those placeholder books where I'm pretty sure this is where I'm starting, because I tend to be a publication order type of person. But if I end up reading anything in that world by T. Kingfisher, that's going to be a win, because the whole point is I just want to prioritize her fantasy, especially the fantasy that has romance in it, because I think I'm just going to have so much fun. And that's the thing. I just want to be having fun. And I just feel like there's no reason for me to believe that T. Kingfisher will not deliver that for me. Up next is another author who I'm just like, I've loved everything I've read. Why have I not read more when there is more available? And that is Tasha Sori's Duology. This is a fantasy romance duology. I think Empire of Sand is my friend Jocelyn's like favorite book. Not of all time maybe, but like I assume if she made a top 10, it would be up there somewhere. And I've just been wanting to read it. I love a good fantasy romance. I mean, I'm still figuring out my taste, but considering how much I love the Burning Kingdoms trilogy, I can't imagine I would have a bad time reading either of these. And I know they're kind of companion novels to each other, like same world, and like it is a duology, that's what it's called. But I do think it's like more of a fantasy romance series where, yes, you need to read book 1 before 2, but they are focused on different plot arcs, which I'm totally fine with. So those are kind of all of the, I'm really hoping for a win. And then the last 4, one's a reread and the other 3 are kind of like, I've been really curious about these and I really hope I could like them. And I'm noticing that this list is less sci-fi than it was last year, but what can you do? The first one I'll talk about is Kushiel's Dart. This is, I don't know actually when it came out, but it's kind of one of those older fantasies. I'm not willing to say like classic, but I think it's like 2000s or 90s fantasy. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But it's one of those that I've always see like in mass market paperback around. I know it's a political fantasy. People always talk about, I think, the role of sex plays in this world and politics, and I think this character derives pleasure from pain. I don't know a lot, but both Chris and Shannon really, really love this trilogy. And they talk about how they couldn't put it down at points while reading it. And I like that type of energy in my fantasy. Now, that said, they also both really like A Song of Ice and Fire, and I have mixed experiences with that. Like, if this isn't as engaging as the third book in A Song of Ice and Fire, I'm sold, I'm in, I'm down. If it's as engaging for me as it was for, like, A Feast of Crows, which I'm not saying is a bad book, it's just that's not my favorite thing, then I might struggle. But I actually do even have a copy that I got from a free library, so I really should try it because it's also just on my physical TBR. Another one that's like I wanted to get to this year and I just didn't have the time, and I think there's still 2 books left to come in the series, but I'm not someone who needs a series to be finished to start it, and like honestly, at the rate that I read series, I might finally catch up by the time new releases come out, and that's the Sun Eaters. I don't know if it's called Chronicles or something. It's the Sun Eaters series by Christopher Rocchio, and a lot of my friends really, really like this, with a lot of different reading tastes. And I know it's kind of sci-fantasy, and it has a lot of tropes that are not my anti-buzzwords, and I'm curious. I want to like it. I'm going into it wanting to love it and having another long series like A Chorus of Dragons that I can just like fall into. That's kind of the goal, is I just want to find something that is like, yes, it's 7 books, let's go. So we'll see. I don't know. I do have one friend who didn't really love it because they thought the pacing was really bad in the middle. But I've also just learned and talked to people, my idea of what is a well-paced book and what's not a well-paced book is not universally accepted. Just is what it is. As long as I care, I don't care about the pacing. Does that make sense? As long as the book makes me care, it can be as slow or as fast or as medium as it wants to be. I just want to be engaged. I don't know what that means. I feel like asking a book to engage you is like a very nebulous thing to ask, but that's what I'm hoping. And then another one that I just need to give this author a try, and that's C.L. Polk. And so I'm putting Witchmark on this, which is a completed trilogy, and this is way outside my comfort space because I don't think this is like my type of fantasy per se. Like, it's not what I gravitate to when I see fantasy synopses. But I've really heard amazing things about this author from people who have similar reading tastes to me, and I think I just need to try their writing style out and see if it meshes with me. We gotta figure that out. And the last one I'll bring up is, tentatively, I want to start my reread of the Rising Saga, trilogy, I don't know what to call it. There are technically 2 series within it, but I've like blended it all together at this point. I haven't read Red Rising since 2018. That's when I want to say I read it, because that's when I last went to the Dominican, because I read it on a flight to the Dominican. It was great. It was a great airplane read. And I think in the middle of summer is when we get the newest book. I think that's when Lightbringer comes out. And I always told myself I want to reread it before the next book comes out, especially the Iron Gold and Dark Age, because there was a lot that happened there. And I was lukewarm on it because I didn't expect the project of the series to shift so dramatically. I had a fun time with the first 3, but then Iron Gold and Dark Age were less fun for me. And I don't know, now knowing what it is, I'll have appropriate expectations for those books and then see where Lightbringer goes. And then hopefully we don't have to wait too long for the last book. But again, I'm not someone where things need to be finished for me to be invested. So I want to do that. Maybe see if any of my friends want to buddy read that with me and stuff like that. Because I had fun with it. And that's the thing, again, fun. Trying to find things that are fun while still discovering new favorites. Yeah, because I had a couple other things on this list where I'm like, do I think I'll actually really like that? Because like I said, even though I was technically more successful this year with my completion rate, it's a successful year if I only get 50%, because that means I've probably finished the series I started, you know? Like, that's probably the type of energy I should be approaching. That's a weird goal, but here we are. And there were series that I started this year that were not on that list that ended up being favorites. We'll have a video where I talk about all the series that I've completed this year, and if you keep up to date with my quarterly series check-ins, you know where I'm at about. But this was just a real, this was an interesting look at, the goals I set for myself and how that paid off this year. I just was not hitting for myself. These were not all wins. Actually, a lot of them were misses. Let me know what series you plan to start next year, or continue if you're just in the middle of some epic things and you like to close out series before starting some. I'd love to hear. Let me know which of these do you think I will connect with. And if you think there are series that I should be prioritizing that you think I will love, that I will love them, knowing my reading taste. Not that I should read it because it's great, because I do have a list for that, but that list is on hold till I finish Wheel of Time. Okay? There are series that I do like to force myself to read even if they're not my taste because of their place in the genre. But that's not what this list is for right now. This list is Angela's gonna love it. That's what we're attempting. And if you want to leave an emoji, I feel like last year I asked you guys to leave a sword, but Theft of Swords is just right there. So we're gonna do that again. And if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.